Is it too? What the hell? Huh. That is. Touch. Flip it, reverse it. There we go. Now it's working. Now it's working. A little live at the park. All right. Looks like we're live as we could be. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the live show. We're out here at Mingus Park. We're doing Mussy Boy finance, as we like to call it. The gayest kind of finance. So this is where we get gay in the park. I drink my white woman drinks. I drink, it's like, this is what Mussy Boys do, right? So Mussy Boys are basically, we're kind of, you know, we like to form the mussy when we can. And it's not hard to form one. I'm not going to show you guys because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube, but you can imagine what the Mussy Boy lifestyle is all about, is what I could say. Right now, we are all chilling out in the park here. Let's see. And trying to touch up a few things here. It'll take a second. All right, I was trying to monetize the episode, but at the moment, I can't do that from this vantage point. That's kind of stupid, but that's okay. We're here with the Mussy Bussy Boys, and that's what we do. That's what we're here for. So I'm a little bit pissed off about that. That's okay though. Hold on, maybe I could share this to YouTube Studio or something. We'll copy it, and then we'll do. I'm gonna do something. I'm doing an experiment here. Figure this one out. Be for this episode. We'll make it monetized later, I guess. But that's stupid. We are the Mussy Boy finance of the world, and we're quite proud of this channel being as gay as it is. Now, Mussy Boys, we wear these little bandages. That's what we do, and we talk about some forms of finance, and it's pretty much it. You know, the Mussy Bussy lifestyle is not an easy one to live. It's depends. We drink lots of white women drinks like this. Usually coconut. I love coconut water. I love coconut water, man. I'm about my essential oils and coconut water. But we're here at the park. A little overcast day. Sun's kind of starting to come out a little bit, which is really sexy. So yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit Mussy Bussy finance, I guess. So if we're going to talk about the Mussy Bussy way, what is the Mussy Bussy way? Well, first off, you own as many ETFs as you can. That's what we do. And as many exchange traded funds is what I'm saying. And usually ones that make sense. You don't want to overcrowd your portfolio with BS ETFs. There are BS ETFs, by the way. Not all ETFs are created equal. And you have to consider like leveraged ETFs. You know, there's a few leveraged ETFs that make sense, which are the ones that bet against Bitcoin. Those are my favorites, by the way, not financial advice, but they're very sexy. They're very good. And yeah, those are the ones that I pretty much go after when it comes down to it. I'm going to try an experiment here. One moment. I had to do a few tweaks just to get this thing monetized. This particular episode, at least, is what I should say. I am blistering hot right now. I do not need my jacket on. It's getting too hot for this shit. All right, so here we go. We're 4 minutes into this thing. I'm not going anywhere. But yeah, overall, the Mussy Bussy lifestyle is very simple. We treat the mussy fairly. The mussy is the bussy, you know, that sort of thing. But you know, this is a form of finance in public spaces. We like to talk about it. And I figure I'm going to use the park to make a little bit of money since it's a free place for me to do a show. No, overall though, I mean, the Mussy Bussy Boys, we clog our portfolios up with tons of ETFs, individual stocks, you name it. ETFs that expose us to bonds, commodities, stocks, anything really that gives us maximum diversification without having to pay an arm and a leg is really the key. That's really the goal at the end of the day. Give me 1 second, folks. Sorry about that. Monetization is officially on. Okay, I just want to make sure it was on and it wasn't my imagination. But yeah, we were able to. You see, that's the thing. You have to go into YouTube Studio, but for some reason on mobile, it's a pain in the butt to find what I need to find down there. So I have to go to like the desktop version of the website. It's some pain in the butt, a lot of loopholes. But overall, that's the Mussy way though. We add tons of different ETFs to our portfolio. We diversify. I don't really consider. I don't believe in over diversification. In fact, my mentors, Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, they did say a few things about diversification, not so kindly. That's the one thing that I disagree with my boys on, is the fact of the matter is, yes, diversification does help when it comes to ignorance, but even if you do know what you're doing, I still think you should be diversified for the pure sense that you still don't know what the future holds for any company. Even in the long term, even though the financials are great, it may be managed really well now, but there have been behemoths that have existed that you thought would never go away, but they were mismanaged. And I don't know, like for example, Coca-Cola is a great company, but I don't know if I have faith in the upcoming generation to run a company like Coca-Cola. It's possible they might run it into the ground. It's pretty tough though. It's all laid out, and they're pretty good about succession plans. So, I mean, I'm still a Coca-Cola fanatic. I'm still a shill for Coca-Cola. But my main thing is, I'm going to invest in solid companies one way or another. But the thing is, diversification protects against the ignorance of the future, right? I don't really know what is going to happen in the world. Maybe the United States will become a third-rate power. I hope not. I really hope not. I love the U.S., man. But you never know. Maybe U.S. companies will not have the the growth. There might be certain factors that happen globally that prevent certain companies from succeeding in the long term. So I think diversification is kind of a key. I mean, you do sacrifice a little bit of growth because because if you concentrate into really good companies that you know are going to do well, you're obviously going to exceed and beat the stock market if you're smart about it. Buy and hold. Don't really ever sell. That's really the key. I just take home the dividends. That's the whole key. So one of the reasons I buy and hold everything I can, every single ETF, we're talking about covered call ETFs, we're talking about leveraged ETFs, for God's sake. I love those. And I could, it's funny, those covered call ETFs, I could technically do those procedures on my own, but honestly, it's a little easier to outsource them and just have it as part of the portfolio. And even then, the expense ratios are not that bad to have those covered call ETFs. So I do try to have at least one share of every covered call ETF available, just because it's derivative income's great, man. Because a lot of those contracts they write are only about have a month expiration date. So overall, the income that you get from those is kind of nice. And they only covered call ETFs legitimately only take up like maybe 5 to 10% of my portfolio overall. The rest of it's just straight up index ETFs for the rest of my life. I mean, that's just really how I go. But the Mussy way is just get multiple ETFs, be diversified across all asset classes. We're talking about bonds, we're talking about stocks, we're talking about commodities. Every single thing you could potentially do, it's all there. But yep. And the Mussy boys, we go where we're not wanted. We go where we're least expected. For example, I wore a Trump hat at an anti-Trump rally. I go places where I'm not wanted. It's pretty fun. But overall, the Mussy way is just invest. Bonds, stocks, you name it, man. And there's tons of ETFs that give you exposure to all sorts of bond markets, to all sorts of, even international stock markets, which is kind of cool. And it makes it to where you don't have to, for instance, if I want to have some Canadian companies in my portfolio, I don't have to I don't have to sign up for the Toronto Stock Exchange. I could just have an ETF that exposes me to countries like Canada or countries like China, you know, you name it, internationally. I have a lot of international ETFs though. That's because a lot of international companies are actually a lot tougher to get a hold of if you're, you know, if you're in another country. So if you want to have that direct exposure, because the funds themselves own the international companies, right? So having ETFs that hold international companies kind of help you diversify even across the globe, which is really nice. But yeah, I choose diversification only because, one, it is a bit of a security blanket. Also, these days, you could be hyper diversified without sacrificing an arm and a leg. Like, I could buy a share of all these different international ETFs, and I'm only paying like $50, $60 per share just to get access to that. And to have access to that level of diversification is really a key point, and something that I pride myself in. It's something that I'm always about and always trying to do. But yeah, if anybody's got any questions, let me see if I could read the. Let me see if I can actually see in the. Hold on. Let me try something real quick. You know what I realized? I don't think I'm actually going to be able to see any of your guys' chats. Somehow, some way, I found a way to fuck this up. Huh. I can't even switch the camera around. Oh. Well, you guys, if you do chat in, I don't think I'm going to be able to see you. Hold on. No? Fuck. Hold on, maybe if I do something, tweak this out a little bit. Hold on. Well, that didn't work, but that's alright. Either way, it's the Mussy Bussy way. I won't, like I said, I won't be able to see any of the comments, unfortunately. For some reason, that part of it is screwed up right now. I think we're still live. I'll take a quick gander at this. Okay, so I was able to take a bit of a glance at the comments. Tim Smith did comment on one of them. So I'm going to say this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to check comments properly on this, if I'm going to be real honest with you guys. So it's going to be fun. I might be able to do like a control. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But it actually might be more of a pain in the ass than I anticipated. I'm going to try one more thing, though, to be able to read these comments. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, that sucks. I'm not going to be able to see the comments, but I will say comment anyway, and I'll, Tim, if you're watching, I think I saw Tim on the part of it, but yeah, Tim, if you're watching, man, just leave a comment of some kind of, I don't know, maybe I could just close out of actually, I could close out of the YouTube app and open it back up. I think that's probably what I'll do. I'm going to start the YouTube app real quick. This might result in failure, though, but I'm going to give it a try. One moment. Okay, yeah, restarting the YouTube app actually did the trick. I can read all the comments now. So Ultrafire says, "What's up, Top G? Well, nothing much, my man." Let's take a look and see what Tim Smith said. Tim Smith said, "Due to monetization, I had to sit through 3 Pringles commercials to see Garza's bussy." Hey, these people get to see the show ad-free here at the park. So we're at the what do you call this place? It's the God, what do you call this? I'm so drawing a blank right now, you guys. I've got that Joe Biden-itis going on. The stage. What do you call these things? Holy shit! I don't know. I just call it the little stage at the park. The not auditorium, no. Holy crap! The word is just totally passing my mind. I could do a comedy routine while I'm here and just like pretend like I'm a real comedian and perform in front of a crowd of no one. That'd be kind of fun. Gazebo, not the gazebo. No, I'm at not the gazebo. I'm right here. I'm on the. See, this is what I'm on. This is what the camera's on, at least. Camera's on this shit, and I don't know what that was a stage. It's a stage of some kind. I just call it a stage. One of these days, though, I do need to come down here with my keyboard and do a show. In fact, maybe I'll even do that sooner than anticipated. Um, let's see, what do we got going on here? But now I wanted to get out in the sun. If we're going to be honest, I just want to get out in the sun. I had a pretty rough day at work. It wasn't too bad, but I don't know the technical term for it either. It'll come to me probably later on in the show. But yeah, this shit's great though. I love being down here at the park. A really good view. I love the sunshine. I love the little stage too. Pretty fun. But yeah, overall the show is we're monetized. We're making money right now as we speak. Tim just made me a bunch of money. They're watching Pringles ads. Yeah, so it's wild to think that I can now come down here and, in a weird way, make a little bit of extra money on a show. It is wild to think about that though. Just like Tim said, you probably have to look through some Pringles ads and shit. But other than that, the show's, we're on the right path overall. But yeah, today was a bit of a day at work, so I'm just like I just wanted to get out of the house and didn't even want to be home. I was just like, no, I want to be home. I want to be outside. And as the old saying goes, the world's a stage. So let's see, Stocks Family Farm also says, I'd love to talk about finances. I'm broke, but I have, let's see, but I have XRP and silver and gold, but I never cash out anything. So here's the thing, I think my opinion on anything crypto related. By the way, it's my boy TJ. TJ was one of the dudes who was at the anti-Trump protest with me. Really cool dude. Check out Stocks Family Farm though. I'm trying to get my boy monetized so he can make a little bit of money off of YouTube as well. But no, overall, I think that I'm not a big fan of XRP because it's crypto. Anything crypto related, I do feel is grifto. But hey, if you like occasionally gambling, then it's fine to get into crypto. Crypto is gambling, but if you're looking to be a long-term investor in things that matter, gold and silver are actually not bad investments. If we're going to be honest, they keep up with inflation fairly well. I don't think they always keep up with inflation, but for the most part they do. The only thing I don't like about gold and silver is they're not productive assets. I will say this, the one thing that pisses me off the most is that there's a lot of rich people who have sold poor and middle class people the idea that getting into stocks is a gambler's arena, and that's sad because most of the rich people, they always tend to buy during the worst of times that people consider the worst of times. When the stock market's down, man, rich people buy. You just got to copy rich people. And that was pretty much my entire investment philosophy is like, okay, well, who are the rich people who do this really well? And I just kind of copy what they do. And then that's why I went to the Epstein Island. But no, just kidding. Just kidding. I wasn't really at Epstein's Island, I swear. I was at Diddy's parties, though. I was at Diddy's freak offs, probably. I wouldn't remember. How could I remember Diddy's freak offs? I probably got roofied. I don't know how that happens. By the way, I hope you all appreciate my white woman drink. My coconut water white woman drink. So my boy Tim Smith says, cash out, crash out. But yeah, overall with finances, man, like my philosophy is super simple, super stark. Get into assets that matter, that actually have true value, and not what don't really give a shit what the market says. I could care less what the market says about anything, because the market is bipolar and typically wrong, and really the market is just a representation of human emotions in the short term, but it's a weighing machine in the long term. So one of the main things for me is I look at, is it actually valuable? That is the question I ask myself. Is this valuable? What is this? So if it's valuable, I'm more than happy to purchase whatever I need to purchase, right? I'll purchase whatever assets I need to if it's really valuable. For instance, the Coca-Cola company, it's proven itself to be valuable. It knows what it's doing. It's managed well. It's got a lot of systems in place. Of course, I'd be an idiot not to have Coca-Cola in my portfolio, for instance. But yeah, you just want to you just kind of rack up, man. Rack up, rack up, rack up. Stocks Family Farm says, I want land. I can make money with land. Here's the thing, man. There is no shame in investing in stocks because rich people invest in stocks all the time. You don't even have to have that much money to get into stocks. But Stocks Family Farm says, I want to quit my job and farm full time. Yeah, dude, that's an honorable goal, man. Farming full time would be awesome. I mean, it's hard work, obviously. You know, I've had a couple friends over in my life that own farms, and I help them out every now and then back in the day when I was younger, and not easy work. It's never easy work. Luckily, I was kind of built to do stuff like that, but at least, you know, with my bussy. But, you know, farming, though, is pretty cool. My buddy Billy, the man's got a green thumb, dude. The man knows how to do it. I gotta try to show him some of your videos, actually, because I'm kind of curious if you grow anything. Because if you grow anything cool, definitely take some short videos of it and stuff and put it on your YouTube channel. Because I want to show my buddy Billy some of the stuff that you're working on, man. Woo. Oh, is that spreading? That's good. Making sure everything's good. But yeah, no, this is fun. I enjoy being live, being outside, and Stocks Family Farm says, I grow tobacco. I've been selling plants in Eastside. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Dude, what a beast. Actually, I know one person who'd be interested in that. Well, I mean, he doesn't smoke anymore, but if he still did, my buddy would be more than happy probably to buy tobacco plants off of you, dude. Hell, if I still smoked, I'd probably buy tobacco plants off you, my man. That'd be fucking cool. But, yeah. It's good for hummingbirds, too. Well, I didn't know hummingbirds actually ate tobacco leaves. That's crazy. Man, tobacco is one of those interesting plants, man. I'm a cigarettes kind of guy. I never got into smoking pot or anything. I just can't do pot, but definitely I love cigarettes when I did smoke them. I think one thing that turned me into a bit of a fiend and got me less addicted was actually American spirits, because there wasn't so many addictive extra chemicals that were input into the American spirit ones because they're natural tobacco. So because of that natural tobacco, I was able to not have as much. I mean, nicotine's still addictive one way or another, but it's better if I'm going to wean off the addiction of the regular cigarettes. I was able to do it with, there's many things I did to quit smoking. It took a lot of effort. But overall, that was one of the things I did. There were quite a few things, to be honest. But yeah, the flowers are very pretty, man. AJ, yeah, and yeah, 100%, man. It's fun, dude. I still think about smoking a cigarette every now and then, though, if I'm having a really bad day, but I avoid it. I don't partake. I'm pretty straight edge at this point in my life. I don't even really drink alcohol anymore. Oddly enough, Donald Trump, my girlfriend's gonna hate me for saying, and now she won't hate me for saying this, but I know a few people who might. But Donald Trump's one of the reasons I don't smoke or drink, to be honest. I watched a few interviews with him back in the day, well before he became president, and one of the things he talked about was his brother Fred, and how his brother always told him, don't smoke, don't drink. And his brother Fred, Trump would say, yeah, my brother was more way better looking, just stuff like that. He would comment, but his brother passed away obviously through excessive alcohol use and excessive tobacco use, and that catches up with you, man. And I try to encourage my friends to not smoke so many cigarettes if I can. I mean, I don't like telling people what to do. I really don't. I mean, I like to, give my wisdom, but at the end of the day, I just kind of put it down as a presentation, and that's about the extent of it. But yeah, I figure we're live here at the park. Why not? The world is a stage tour. Yeah, I saw him on Theo Vaughn. Yeah, exactly. I remember seeing, Trump. That's the one thing I like about Trump, man. He's, a lot of people love saying he's like the worst guy in the world, but I think it's just because, he's not a very attractive man. I'll tell you what, my theory on Trump is this. One, I think he's autistic. Two, he's not that attractive. He was kind of okay looking in his heyday, but he was never like a super duper drop dead gorgeous man. Now, I'll tell you what, let's turn the tables around. Let's say Trump looked like Brad Pitt, or let's say Trump looked like Adam Levine, a very, very sexy man, but acted exactly like Trump does, sounds exactly like him, but was six-pack abs, good looking. I don't think anybody would have a problem with Trump, if I'm going to be honest. I just think it's because he's not one of the beautiful people. He's not a beautiful person. Like, I think he's his soul. People say that he's got a wicked soul, or he's a terrible. I don't think he's that bad of a dude. He's a little resentful, probably, of a few things. Sure, why not? Who isn't? I mean, the media makes up shit about him all the time. But yeah, if I were him, yeah, I'd be resentful too. But I do think that the reason that the news agencies all go after him the way they do is simply because he's not a good-looking dude. If he looked like Brad Pitt or Adam Levine, this story would be totally different. That's just the way it is, and nobody wants to admit that. But if Trump was, like I'm saying, Trump was super attractive, booed. Everybody would be okay with him because it's like people tend to agree with attractive people. That's a psychological thing. And sadly, Trump isn't the sexiest man in the world. I mean, I'm Trump sexual. I think he's great. He makes me laugh, but it's whatever. Let's see. Stocks says Smith, when it act, he's not part of the liberal economic. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, man. He doesn't play ball with the globalists, and he's not a big fan of globalism. He really isn't. And it's funny. It's funny. I never thought a rich guy would actually stand up for the poor and middle class. Because lifelong politicians say they stand up for the poor and middle class, but that's all smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? And yeah, no, they don't stand up for the little guy at all. but yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of just anybody who rebels against the system itself. Like for instance, he ran on basically saying drain the swamp. Let's get rid of all these lifelong politicians. Let's get them out of office, and that's awesome. To me, that's great. But not everybody sees it that way, obviously, and it's just kind of the way it is. But gotta hold the camera down. Wind gusts coming through. But yeah, overall, yeah, I've been a huge fan of him for a long time. In fact, you know what I could do? I realized I could weigh this thing down with my coat. My coat could be a weight. So I don't have to keep holding this damn thing. There we go. Now the coat is acting like a weight. That'll work. But yeah, overall, I like the way he ran. I thought it was awesome. Let's see what we got in the chat here. But back to Stocks Family Farm, when you were talking about how you have you're saying like crypto or whatever. Look, at the one thing you need to know is crypto is a scam. Scam. Oh yeah, and scam. So cryptocurrencies are all a big Ponzi scheme. And I think it should be known to the world. And so if you have XRP, man, it's just as much of a Ponzi as anything else. I don't think that cryptocurrency is the future of money. I just don't. It just doesn't make. I mean, cryptocurrency in itself, as a software developer, as somebody who loves to develop software for fun, it makes sense to me that it's kind of a cool project, and it's a curiosity more than anything. But at the same time, I don't think it can replace physical currency, and it's not gold. I hate it when people compare Bitcoin to gold as if Bitcoin is superior. It's not. Bitcoin is trash. Here's the thing about this. Cryptocurrencies belong in the crypt. All right, they're trash. All right, stocks, bonds, and commodities are where it's at. Those are real assets. They actually have value. Right? There's real value there. Don't give a shit what the market says about the valuation. All I care about is what is the actual value of this when I look at it. What makes it valuable? And that's the question I ask myself every time I invest. What makes this valuable? What is so great about this? You know what I mean? And yeah, when it comes to stocks, I'm more than, even though there's some stocks and some ETFs that I think are probably trash, most likely, but you never know. Stocks Family Farm says, I've thought about buying stocks. I mean, here's the thing about stocks, man. You get to be an owner in a company. You know, that's the one thing I could say is that when you own a share of whatever company you want to own, hold on. Stretch real quick. When you own shares of a company, that makes you a partial owner of the company you just purchased. So if I buy a share of Coca-Cola, I'm officially an owner of the Coca-Cola company. Obviously on a small scale, but I'm still an owner and I get all the benefits. So if I hold Coca-Cola stock pays me a dividend. If I hold Realty income pays me a dividend. They have the cash flows to back up the dividend. They have the profits. They have all the things they need, right? So it's all there, and that's why I hate cryptocurrency. Stupid, by the way. Cryptocurrency is the dumbest effing thing that mankind's ever invented. It's phony. It's bullshit. And if you call out the BS and you really look at it for what it is, it's crap. Oh, hello, pigeons. I got pigeons following me, but they want to poke at my leg. But yeah, overall, I look at real assets. I mean, real assets that matter. Any commodities, gold, silver, oil, you name it. Get exposed to whatever you can. Stocks are great. The only thing I hate is bonds are kind of trash, though, because while you're getting a guaranteed yield, you're not necessarily keeping up with inflation. In fact, you're usually falling behind on the inflationary forces. So that's a thing. But yeah, it's fun shit. Oh man. But yeah, we got pigeons everywhere though. Pigeons all over the place. But yeah, honestly, investing is not hard, man. You can open a brokerage account at any time. You can get into Charles Schwab, you can get into Robinhood. Any sort of brokerage account, it's all there at the end of the day. I mean, you can get into whatever the hell you want, really. But yeah, no, stocks are great. Bonds are great. Commodities are great. Crypto's shit. Crypto is the shittiest thing of them all. And I avoid that stuff like the plague. You know, it's funny. All these crypto bros, they always tell me like, "Hey, it's going up, therefore it's valuable." It's like, no, it still it has no intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is all that really matters. Markets can be stupid because markets are controlled by a lot of the times really stupid people. And in this instance, I mean, the crypto market's a bunch of grifto. So it's like, crypto's grifto, man. That's the way I look at it. See a comment here, ironically with my last name. That's hopefully going to change in a month or so, fingers crossed. Yeah, here's the thing, man. I mean, for me personally, my main shtick is this. I mean, hell, if your last name is actually Stocks, You're not into stocks. What the hell are you do? No, you're good, but no, I've never understood. I think the one thing that pisses me off is, like I said, is Wall Street has made investing in stocks seem like it's like some sort of puzzle. It really isn't. I mean, there's not much. These days, the information's all there right at your fingertips, and you don't even have to pay a commission fee. Back in the day, you used to have to pay like even a small commission fee just to buy stocks. Now there's no commission fees at all, so you can actually just get a share of whatever the hell you want at no commission fee price. So there's really no, I mean, there's obviously risk in investing no matter what, but honestly, I think the real risk is holding cash. See, cash at the end of the day is worthless and lazy, you know. Cash is not backed by anything of value, so therefore you should just trade your cash in for actual valuable assets. And that's what I do. Now, not financial advice, obviously, but you want to make sure you're just exposed to anything valuable. I consider bonds valuable. I consider, you name it. These pigeons are getting really close to me, man. Maybe they like my coconut. You guys like the coconut water? Do you guys want coconut water? I think these pigeons want coconut water. They want my bougie white woman drink, dude. I don't know why they're all hanging out next to me. Maybe they think I got candy. Do you think I got candy? Do you think I got candy, bud? I think these pigeons think I got candy. I got coconut water for you guys, though. You want coconut water? These pigeons are freaking awesome, man. I got two pigeon buddies. But yeah, overall, look at the utility of something. See if it's valuable. I mean, honestly, if it's naturally valuable, if it has utility, like if anything has utility or usefulness, it's worth keeping. And as long as the government can't print it, this is my main motto. Here's the thing. If the government can print it, just say no. All right? I'm going to say that just like Nick Cage. If the government can print it, just say no. All right? You got to say no to that shit. Yeah, so just don't fall victim to bad ideas. So Stocks Family Farm says I get paid quarterly, so it's hard to plan anything. Let's see. Yeah, that can be tough, man, especially getting paid quarterly and everything. I can understand that. That's hopefully going to change in a month or so. Fingers crossed, says Cypher Solutions. Stocks Family Farm says pigeons are CIA Trump spying. I love the Birds Aren't Real campaign. Is so much fun. I remember that's such a funny thing. Yeah, I got all these cool birds hanging out next to me, man. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh my God, actually, that would be funny. I remember reading an article. It was a bit of a conspiracy theory about like China. I don't believe in this at all, but they're saying like China made pigeon drones that look like they're real birds. I mean, maybe that's why they're hanging around me, trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. I'm not talking bad about China, all right? But yeah, no, it's just my investing philosophy's really simple, and there's just not much to it. There's just not much to the investing philosophy overall. Except for I love betting against Bitcoin, though. Betting against Bitcoin using leveraged ETFs is really fun, because we all know that Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme, especially on this channel. We all know, at least hopefully we all know. There are some people who detract from my godly opinion. Now, I'm not very humble about my opinion on this. I think that Bitcoin's trash, and I love betting against anything crypto related. I wish there was an ETF that let me bet against the entire crypto market. That would be great. Let's see. But yeah, no, I think I feel, let's see, Stocks Family Farm says I feel like only by benefit from metals unless, oh yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing, stocks. So if you purchase stock in a company, if I buy a share of a company, I'm buying ownership in a productive asset, and I get all the benefits that an owner would get from owning partial of a company, even if it's a very small piece. The thing is, productive assets, if they're good, first off, productive assets like securities, basically stocks, go up if, and only if, you're investing in real companies that are actually established that grow. Not all companies are created equal, by the way. Penny stocks are bullshit. I want to just tell everybody that right now. Anybody who's ever fallen for that penny stock stuff, don't. Look, if you start out in investing, just look for well-established companies or look for an ETF that gets you diversified instantly. There are plenty of ETFs out there that can allow you to get diversified instantly. No problem. There's plenty of articles out there too on the best ones. You can actually check, if you look up ETF on realgarza.com, you'll be able to see all that crap. Let's see. Let's see. Cypher Solution says my guy Bitcoin is test nested of 3 billion transactions in 24 hours. Heading to a sec. No, Bitcoin's trash, dude. You know it's trash. Come on, man. You know it's garbage. I can't believe, it's sad that, it's funny that Bitcoin was deemed a commodity in 2021 when it is the furthest thing from a commodity. I love how people also call it, because it's not a commodity. There's nothing, it's just a piece of data. How can bits of data, just bits of data, that are not backed by anything except for the open source software, which people can duplicate, by the way, and create their own version in competition against Bitcoin itself, how is that valuable? How is that a commodity? That's a piece of data. Now, it could be considered intellectual property if we're gonna be splitting hairs. But I don't know, man. I don't know about that. So Cypher Solution says it's not just bits, it's terabyte. That's okay. So it's a what? A terabyte? Are you kidding me? Dude, Cypher Solutions, you're talking out your ass, dude. You are talking out your ass. And by the way, it's a waste of data, it's a waste of time. If it's a waste of time. It's a Ponzi scheme, and I'm sad you guys don't see that, but yeah, it's grifter currency, man. Oh, we got a duck hanging out. This is cool. So let's see. Cypher Solution says I'm dead serious. Good for you, man. Hey, you may be serious, but you can still be serious and still be seriously wrong. Hey, crypto's grifto, man. It's for grifters. Only grifters love crypto. Now, look, if you're a gambler, okay, I get it. If you like gambling, sure, why not? But, yeah, for me, I'm not much of a gambler, man. I'm a long-term investor at the end of the day. That's why I worked so damn hard on this YouTube channel. That's why all the money I get, I basically put into investments. All the money I get from this channel, man, boop, all goes into investing. Nothing else. Cypher Solution says, let's see. Cypher Solution says, absolutely, I was even crazy. Hey, look, man, if you're a little bit insane, whatever, that's fine. But I'm just saying, crypto is grifto. That's all I'm saying. All right? It's grifter currency. Stocks Family Farm says I only have $70 invested in my crypto anymore, and it's worth $350. It's basically nothing. Not a serious thing. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not putting, it scares me when people say they're putting their entire savings into crypto. I'm like, I don't even think, first off, I don't like saving money. I'm not a big fan of it, but I know that it's needed in this world. I do have extra money that I put into a high yield savings account, just as cash reserve, because I never know when I'll need it, but at least I get a guaranteed yield. But outside of that, though, any extra money I get from work, it always goes right into my investments, and all my investments, they pay a dividend, which is really cool. So all my dividends, actually, it's funny. I want to talk about DRIP real quick. So I don't believe in. I do have a dividend reinvestment plan, but it's a little bit different than most people's. So at the end of the month, I take all the dividends that I have accumulated so far for the month, and then I actually just put it into whatever I may not have already. So whether it's maybe a maybe an ETF of stocks that I don't have, or maybe an individual company I just don't have individual holdings of. I look for that. I look for, bond ETFs, for example. I really just redistribute. I take those dividend payouts that I get. I don't put them into the same thing, because I think putting it into the same thing is garbage. The whole point about getting that cash flow is not to reinvest in the same company, but find other companies to throw that capital at, so that way you can spread out your risk. And spreading out the risk is half the battle, So always spread out your risk, and always look for assets with real intrinsic value. Let's see. Cypher Solution says S&P has dropped to 2,000. Let's see. BOE is this thing. I ran somewhere huge. I think you just ran. I don't know what you're saying, Cypher Solution. Sorry about that, partner. Let's see. Stocks Family Farm says all my savings is metal. 2 ounces of gold and 150 plus of silver. Not bad, dude. Honestly, having gold is great, man. I think I wouldn't mind actually having a couple gold bars myself, if I'm going to be honest. But a lot of my exposure to gold is really just through commodity ETFs and a lot of gold mining companies that I own. So that's pretty much it. I own a lot of different gold mining companies, and it's pretty much the whole key, I love gold. But yeah, overall it's I got my coconut water. Gotta drink this shit. Keeps me hydrated. Regular water is good too, but man, I love coconut water. Let's see. Cypher Solution says you will be uploading this video to Bitcoin really soon. Mama, we just did. No, but here's the thing, man. Crypto's grifto. It's all grift. It's all pointless. It's all dumb. We all know it. We all know that cryptocurrency is garbage. And we should... we're all better people if we realize that. I'm not really... I don't know if I'm one of the better people or not, but, whatever. All right. I think this is high enough. Let's see. Cypher Solution says you are definitely not an economist. Well, if anybody thinks that cryptocurrency is an actual asset, they should lose their whatever licenses they have to be an economist. Because it's grifto, baby. Cypher Solutions, honestly, Cypher, can I tell you this? I'm going to tell you it anyway. If you think that cryptocurrencies of any kind are legitimately an asset or a commodity, if you think they are, you're not an economist either, all right? You're not an economist. You're a grifter. Let's see. Stocks Family Farm says, what about ammo? It's not technically money, but I've traded it for stuff too. Yeah, honestly, ammo, definitely, especially depending on the area you're in, man, bullets can be very valuable. So yeah, if people are willing to trade you bullets for things, then hell yeah. But shouldn't you be careful like trading bullets though? Because aren't bullets like depending on what you're buying, where you're buying them from? If it doesn't it have like your signature? I don't know, like there's some sort of indicator that you're the one that bought the bullets, right? So if you trade away those bullets to somebody that you don't know, if they're doing some sketchy shit, that's a little bit, isn't that kind of a risk? Truth is, I'm not much of a gun guy. I like guns, don't get me wrong, I think they're great, but I'm not much of a gun guy. I do like stun weaponry though, personally. Cypher Solution says I'm actually starving from this garbage. What's a grifter? So a grifter is basically somebody who takes advantage of others. It's like a snake oil salesman. Sells them a shitty product, basically, like a snake oil salesman selling snake oil. And then they basically make them pay up the butt. So for example, if I was to sell you snake oil for like $50 per vial or whatever, I'd be ripping you off. So a grifter is basically somebody who rips people off. Some people takes advantage of others and basically gives either faulty advice or gives a faulty product knowingly, and that's usually a bunch of garbage when that happens. But uh, let's see here. Let's see. Cipher Solution says no ammo is untracked. Stocks Family Farm says nope. I can go to my mart and buy. Oh, okay. I thought for some reason there was like. Oh, it's right. The gun itself is marked under your name. That's right. So the gun itself is marked under your name, but not the ammo. I got you. Okay. I mean, hell, stockpiling on ammo is not exactly the worst idea in the world. You never know. You never know when things may go to shit. I don't think they will, but they could. They very well could. So, all right, pigeons. Is this what you're looking for? Here. Bon appetit. Got a couple little, I don't know what these pigeons are doing at the moment, but they're acting very interesting. I got pigeons everywhere right now. This is great. The pigeons love me. I'm the Birdman. The Birdman wouldn't lie. What time is it right now? Let's see. It's 5:23. We've been doing this for about almost an hour already. But yeah, overall, it's looking good out here. Looking real good. But yeah, my main motto is, just invest. There's no limit to how much you can invest, and it's half the battle, man. Getting exposed to all sorts of different asset classes, and it's getting chilly as shit out here. So hold on. But yeah, whatever you can get exposed to, my man. It's getting a little windy out here too. We got about 53% battery. I can keep doing this all day. In fact, we might even go up to the bench, chill out for a bit. Oh, today was a bit of a day, but let's see. A grifter is someone who engages in deception or manipulation to make money, typically through fraudulent schemes, scams, or con games. Yeah, exactly. That's what, like, anybody who promotes crypto or Bitcoin or whatever, it's all scam. Cipher Solution says, "You crazy liberals." Dude, you're probably a liberal. What are you talking about, dude? Let's see. I have Stocks Family Farm says I have more money in ammo than gold, silver, and crypto combined. Heck yeah, dude. My man. Let's see. Cipher Solution says look into Circle, the stable coin that went IPO and rocketed to $254 in a week from 105. But I'm so broke I didn't get it. I'm gonna jet. Let's get together, sir. I'll try to get together one of these times, man. I do get a little bit busy. Like I've been doing this show a lot, and who knows? Maybe I could do a show at your place or something. I could just bring this. I always bring my phone everywhere, so I like to bring my tripod with me. You never know. Never know when you get the opportunity to do a show, and I enjoy doing shows out in public. So it's kind of nice, like having a studio audience that doesn't want it, I'll be right back, folks. I'm gonna put this in the trash can. All right, do you guys think I could run to the trash can? I'm back. So I put my can in the trash, and that's the way I roll. Stocks Family Farm says, I want my dog to that park. Hell yeah, dude. It's a good new Mingus Park's great, dude. I love Mingus. It's the best. One of the better parks out here. All day long in a juicy man thong. Hell yeah. Alright, let's see. Cypher Solution says I'm utilitarian. Heck yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Stocks Family Farm says I gotta go. Have a great night, man. Stocks Family Farm, dude. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Stocks Family Farm, ran by my boy AJ. Look at all those birds flying. But yeah, dude, AJ's a cool dude. Really interesting fella. No, TJ. I can't, like I said, I confuse my AJs and my TJs. But TJ runs Stocks Family Farm. I gotta get that right. TJ, I gotta remember TJ. But no, check out his channel. Make sure you subscribe, and I know he's probably gonna be putting out content. So I just want to see if I can get him enough subscribers to where, he can make a little bit of extra dough on the YouTube. And yeah, it's really fun, really cool. All right, what else do we want to talk about here? So I think if we're going to talk about another subject, what about, we could go with, we could probably go with, we've already covered most investing topics I wanted to talk about. Maybe there's something I missed, who knows. But when it comes down to it, there's always something out there you can invest in. It's really what I'm really trying to get at. There's always something out there to trade your money for, right? And that's the most important thing. Invest. As much as you can, when you can, But yeah, no, I think if you avoid scams like crypto, so Cypher Solution said no, there's not. There is only Bitcoin. Dude, Bitcoin is so stupid. Bitcoin's a grift. You know it. You know it. Come on, man. Oh man, so these grifters on my channel that promote Bitcoin, keep doing it. Keep promoting this stupid product. But look, Bitcoin's trash. You know it. Now, real assets are something that, first off, either have utility, do something, right? That actually do something. Like if I own Coca-Cola, if I own a share of Coca-Cola, that is something that does something, right? And that's the key. Let's see. Cypher Solution says you have crypto and blockchain. Fuck so. Come on, man. Anyway, I'm not gonna try. I don't like to change people's minds because I don't really give a shit. All I know is I know what a grift is, and Bitcoin's the biggest digital MLM I've ever seen. So I don't feel like arguing about that. I know what crap is. So I would know I'm a piece of crap. But yeah, out here it's fantastic being able to hang out with these pigeons and do whatever weird things I'm doing out here. But yeah, I think overall, I mean, if you spread out your risk as much as possible, you'll usually win big in the end in life. Spread out that risk. That's what I do. But you should always talk to a financial advisor. Figure out what's best for you. Me personally, like I said, I got plenty of ETFs, more than any man should have, mainly because I like getting paid dividends at different times, and I figure if I own a broad array of ETFs that all pay some sort of dividend, I'll get a dividend payout pretty much whenever. So it's pretty much fun. It's one of the reasons why I get a dividend like every day from whatever the hell I got. So, and I try to reinvest those as quickly as I can. But that's just kind of how I do it, man. Just invest. But yeah, one thing I've been doing frequently is, like I said, betting against Bitcoin. You know, SBIT's great. It's a great leverage ETF that gives you the minus 2x exposure. That's kind of cool. Any opportunity I can get, though, to bet against Bitcoin, I'll do it. Even though I got in early when I was a little bit naive and stupid, you know. We all get into stupid things when we're younger, but that's all right. Let's see what Cypher Solutions is saying in the live chat here real quick. Cypher Solutions says, I know what you are saying. I do. Honestly, it's completely garbage. Let's see. Y'all are Bitcoin. So let me get this straight. You're saying that something that is pure data, nothing but data, is somehow more valuable than gold. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You mean to convince me of that? Really? We all know that's garbage, right? We all know that's garbage. Seriously, you're going to try to convince me that strings of data are more valuable naturally than gold? I call BS. Bitcoin is not digital gold. Bitcoin is digital fool's gold, right? It is a scam. It is a lie. And Cypher Solutions, you have fallen for the lie. And I offer you light and hope. No, I'm just kidding. The only thing I offer you is a warning. Stay away from crypto. All crypto's grifto. It's all grift. It's all big grift. So boom. But let's see. Cypher Solution says, I can see you want to believe it. I can say, why would you think I want to believe in it? I bet against it very heavily. In fact, I profit way more if it goes down. However, I still profit even when it goes up because, like I said, I got into it early. But I know it's stupid. Just because the market for Bitcoin goes up does not mean it's valuable. It means that a bunch of morons have decided to all buy in a group, right? Push the price up. And then what happens after that? I just think I spittled on the camera. And then what happens after that? It's bullshit. You know it. You know it's a grift. You have to know it's a grift. Let's see what Cypher Solution says in the live chat, though. Let's see, because okay, sir. First off, Cypher Solutions, if you own Bitcoin, you're not a real investor. And well, I should say, if you own Bitcoin and you take it seriously, you're not a real investor. If you own Bitcoin as a hedging mechanism, then yes, you're a real investor. I only own Bitcoin. I keep the Bitcoin, and I'll tell you why I do. Not because I believe in it. Because if you idiots pump it up to $1 million freaking dollars, $1 million, if you pump it up to $1 million, I'll at least make a profit on the upside, but I'll still be betting the downside will happen. Look, it's a bubble, right? I don't care if Bitcoin goes to $1 million. It's a bubble. It's a Ponzi scheme. It could go to $1 billion per coin. And that would be more proof positive that the world's gone mad and there's more dumb money out there than I anticipated. That's all I could say. There is a limit to how far Bitcoin can go up in value, trust me. Bitcoin is not gold. Bitcoin is mold. It's digital mold, not digital gold. Remember, I need to make that a slogan. Bitcoin equals digital mold. Okay. Is anything breaking through to people? And by the way, don't call yourself an investor. Cypher Solutions, you're not an investor, man. A real investor would denounce Bitcoin. Would be like, yeah, this stuff is for gamblers and for Ponzi schemers. So it saddens me that all these different, what do you call them, agencies and stuff are getting into it. Just blows my mind. Blows my mind, man. Here we go. Let's see. Cypher Solution says, I don't promote crypto. I'm promoting blockchain. Good. I mean, the algorithms are all open source anyway, so anybody could take those algorithms and just make their own independent project. So you're not promoting blockchain. You're promoting Bitcoin, which is utterly worthless, by the way. Utterly worthless. All right. So, what are you doing? What are you doing? So let's see. So Cipher Solution says I'm just gonna leave this here. I told you so. What are you telling me, dude? You ain't telling me shit. You ain't telling me garbage, man. You ain't telling me anything. Cipher Solutions, man, you're not telling me anything that's valuable. You're trying to convince me that something that is not valuable is valuable. That's, it's a bogus lie. I don't believe you. Hold on, I'm looking at something real quick. Let's see. I have no IRL utility because the fiat hasn't imploded yet, and it will. So here's the thing. Even if the US dollar collapses, which it probably will, Bitcoin is still worthless. Whether there's 21 million of it or 1 million of it, it's all just because there's scarcity there doesn't mean it's worth anything. It's still pointless at the end of the day. It's still worthless. It's still garbage. I mean, does that make sense? And so that's the thing, man. It's still garbage at the end of the day. And anybody who believes in it, it's just it's crap. I'm still trying to make heads or tails of why people believe in it, but they do for whatever reason. But yeah, overall, I mean, the real assets are stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate. I actually love real estate, even though I don't. The only real estate I own are real estate investment trusts, but that's exposure enough for me, man. There are companies that own real estate, they lease it out, and I get some pretty heavy cash flows from it, so that's really the key. Let's see. Cipher Solutions says, at least I'm not shilling a shit coin. Well, I mean, you are shilling. First off, you are shilling a crap coin, because anything crypto related is still garbage. You could put whatever label you want on it. It's all garbage. Bitcoin is no different than fart coin. It's no different than turd coin. It's no different than any of those. It's all the same pile of crap, is what I'm trying to say. It's all turds. It's just turds with different names. Turds with different names on them, right? That's really the whole point I'm trying to make. Fine, I'll call Bitcoin what it is, a turd. I'll stop calling Bitcoin crypto. You happy now? Bitcoin is a turd. It's a pile of steaming hot garbage. And it is not worth it at all. It's crap. That's all you need to know. It's garbage. It doesn't have any intrinsic value. And things with no intrinsic value, I don't want anything to do with. If I'm going to be honest. Cipher Solution says way better. It's all garbage. First off, you're saying it's all garbage. Bitcoin crypto, it's all the same garbage, because all of these are all offshoots of Bitcoin anyway, right? They're all using the same bloody source code with a few modifications. So it's all an extension of garbage. It's turd. It's an extension of a turd, right? So Bitcoin's a turd. All these cryptos that are based off Bitcoin, basically, maybe like modifying the source code a little bit, those are turds as well. And as Charlie Munger said, if I see my friends playing with turds, I choose not to participate, even if they say they're having a lot of fun with it. Let's see. So Cipher Solutions is saying, no, there's a difference, 42,000 cryptos and only one. Well, first off, they're all based on Bitcoin. They're all based on the open source code, and they all are a direct competition. If anybody can take that source code and make their own version pretty easily, for the most part, you know what that means? It means that it'll always have competition, and it'll always, like, it's still like, I don't think you guys are getting this. It's Bitcoin's trash. It is garbage. Like, what do I have to tell you, Cypher? I don't get it. What are you doing? But hey, this is the best part about interacting with a live chat room, is because I get to talk to you guys right here, right now. So you're looking for garbage. All right. It's a Ponzi scheme. I'll tell you that. It's a legal Ponzi scheme. But, hey, to each their own. To each their own. Get into it. Get into whatever the hell you want to get into. But it's a GD Ponzi scheme, man. And it is not the future. It is not the future of finance, for the love of God. The more I hear that, the more I want to throw up in my mouth. It's not the future. Cypher Solution says, "Oh, dude, I'm too far in." Well, you're just, I guess you're, I don't know what to tell you, man. You love a Ponzi scheme, it's all right, man. But, yeah, I think I'm going to call it quits for the day. Let's see what time it is real quick. I'm going to go home. I'm going to make myself some dinner. Probably going to have some spicy chili. And probably put some macaroni noodles in that shit as well. But let me get the bugs out of my coat. But we'll kind of end with like a final note, I guess. Anything people want to add to the chat? Anything at all? Probably keep going for a little bit. I might even just relocate. But I'm kind of hungry, so I actually do want to probably end the stream in like 5 minutes. Still got plenty of battery left, so I don't know. Yeah, here's the thing, Cypher Solutions. Cypher Solutions is saying, "Lol, have a good one, man. Always a good day arguing about real money over fiat." Here's the thing, I will tell you, real money is actual assets, right? Real money, so here's the irony about Bitcoin and the US dollar or any physical or digital currency. Currencies are inherently worthless, right? So if anything, if you're going to put the dollar into fiat category, which it is, by the way, it's fiat category, it's fake, there's nothing backing it, it's garbage. You need to put Bitcoin in the same category because it's useless strings of data that are not backed by anything of true value. Like, this is the biggest problem I have with this whole digital crypto bro movement, is that I'm an intrinsic value kind of guy. If something doesn't have intrinsic value, I mean, I can't ethically get on board with it. I put the douche in fiduciary, and I get fiduciary chills. I get douche chills, fiduciary chills. So here's the thing. The fiduciary man in me says that Bitcoin is a scam. It is snake oil, a digital snake oil at that. And I got to try to veer everybody away from it because it's crap. Now, at the same time, I'm going to be transparent with you guys. I bet against Bitcoin. I say it all the time on this channel. I'm always betting against Bitcoin because Bitcoin's stupid. It's fool's gold, man. It's not real. Okay, first off, there's such a thing as useful data versus useless data. This is all useless data, by the way. Bitcoin is useless data. It is literally data without a purpose. Bitcoin's whole goal is to try to replace physical money, which is stupid because the metals and the storage devices have more actual value than the Bitcoin itself. Anyway, look, what I'm trying to say is, Cypher Solutions, you're a moron. I love you, brother. I love it when you come on here. But man, these are the takes that you have might be the dumbest takes I've ever heard. And I can't take them seriously. I mean, maybe you're trolling. I don't know. But if you legitimately think that Bitcoin's legitimate, you got a problem. And the problem is you don't know what real money is. It's Gresham's law, baby. What is real money? What is fake money? Well, I know what real money is. Gold is real money. Silver is real money. But if you think for the love of God that Bitcoin is real money, which isn't backed by anything, by the way, and that's another reason why Bitcoin has a lot more in common with the dollar. It's not backed by anything of real value or real utility. So, boom. I mean, I win either way. And history will prove me right. I mean, Bitcoin's going to go down to its intrinsic value, right? So anything with an intrinsic value of 0 eventually goes to 0. That is the overall, that is my overall sentiment about Bitcoin. It has an intrinsic value of 0, therefore it must eventually go down to 0, which is why I bet against it. I bet against stupid shit and I make a lot of money for it. So that's one of the reasons I make the excess money that I make, is because I see stupid shit that everybody's getting into that has no real value. And I'm thinking to myself, well, this is just hype. It runs on the news. It literally runs on the news, man. And that's about it. So that's pretty much about the extent of it. And, you know, gives me an erection. But I get pretty hard, you know. I get pretty hard betting against Bitcoin. But, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think what else we want to do here. Folks, we can talk more about the Mussies. As soon as BTC get me laid. Oh my God. Well, I hope you're trolling. I really hope you're trolling. I hope you realize that, like, if you are smart, Cypher Solutions, which I hope you are, I think you have some form of intelligence to know that Bitcoin cannot go up forever. That Bitcoin isn't itself a grift and should be bet against. I think betting against Bitcoin's fantastic. We're gonna be real honest with each other, you know. So I'm always happy to bet against Bitcoin. That's just the way that I operate. And it's fun, man. Always bet against Bitcoin, man. Always bet against the grift, you know. I don't know if I want to go home yet. This is nice. The weather's too nice right now. But yeah, overall, it's investing in the park. This is Mussy madness, man. This is the Mussy way, and this is what we do. But yeah, Cypher Solutions. Well, I think that your opinions are moronic. So sometimes they make sense. A lot of the times, if you start going on this BTC rabbit hole bullcrap, then I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? So at the end of the day, I'm just like, nope, hell no. But yeah, overall, I mean, we're on the right path here. You know, I mean, I think that if you can, the Mussy Boys, here's what the Mussy Boy motto is: we spread out our risk, we spread out our cheeks. All right, we diversify so we can diversify. All right, we get into stocks because we like to pile it on. We like investing into companies. So Cypher Solution says the tulip theory never happened. Actually, the tulip theory for Bitcoin has just been delayed. Trust me. Trust me, it's a bubble. And this is the bubble of the final stage. Did you notice that Bitcoin was only able to elapse $100,000 only, and I mean only, because Wall Street intervened and started buying up Bitcoin. And they started putting it in their worthless fucking ETFs. They started making those stupid spot Bitcoin ETFs, right? And so here's the thing. The only reason Bitcoin's over $100,000 is because of Wall Street intervention. And here's the thing. That makes it even scarier for people who are long-term on Bitcoin, because you know what Wall Street knows? Wall Street knows that Bitcoin is garbage, right? And they're going to do everything they can to pump up that price artificially, right? Through wash trading or whatever they do. And then what's going to happen is it's all going to crash right down. It should. It deserves to crash because it's worthless. And that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Get it, got it, good. Because I'm the greatest white rapper in the US of A. Because all my homeboys, they think that I'm gay and I don't know why. I am so fly. I'm pretty gay, but I'm pretty cool though. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Real important. We need more simps. We need more pimps. Let's see what else we got in the chat though. So now I think the reason that Bitcoin went up is because Wall Street got involved. Big firms started buying into it, not because they believe in it, mainly because they wanted to find ways to bet against it. So they're basically putting out whatever put contracts they can. They're doing whatever they can because they know it's a grift, they know it's a Ponzi scheme, and they know that the dumb money will get into it every single time. Every time the dumb money finds a way to get into this garbage, right? And it's a big deal. So it's a big deal. The dumb money finds a way. Miles McGowan says, 22 years old, no debt at all. I have an engineering job, living on my own. I have very little knowledge about investing at all. What would you do if you were me? Well, I'll tell you what yeah, actually, that's a good scenario. I like it. First off, you're an engineer, you said, right? Very little knowledge about investing at all. Okay, cool. If you don't understand investing, let's try to correlate it with something you might understand. Did you ever collect anything as a kid? That's the question. Did you ever collect anything? And like, I'll give you an example: Pokemon cards, Magic cards, Hot Wheels. Did you collect anything? Name what you collected. Just give me something here, because I want to make it relatable to you. The only way to really learn sometimes is through example and through correlation. So I want to correlate something that you're familiar with, but I want you to take what you did when you were younger, and I want you to apply it to modern day, and I'll show you how in just a second. But I'll give you an example of what I do. So when I was younger, I used to collect Pokemon cards and stuff. I had a great collection, and I collected like as many individual ones as I could, just because I loved playing the game. I wasn't really good at it, but I love Pokemon, right? And so I collected the cards and I had them in little binders and stuff. But I do the same thing with my portfolio, right? So I collect stocks, and I collect stocks, ETFs, that's exchange traded funds, that sort of stuff. I collect on those the same way that I collected on Pokemon cards, because what did I do with the Pokemon cards? I kept them in a binder, and I never sold them, right? I never got rid of them. I kept them, where they were. I knew where they were at, and I never sold them. Now, I thought, maybe one of these days they'll be worth something. They were. But that's what I'm trying to say is, like, now I don't believe that you should collect things. I think most times collecting things, I guess baseball cards and stuff can be basketball cards can be a big thing if you get the right rookie cards, that sort of shit. Because you never know which rookie is going to blossom. So sometimes it's better to get the rookie cards for all the draft, for everybody in the first round draft class most of the time. Let's see. So Miles McGowan says, let me rephrase. I understand the basics of investing. I sell collectibles a lot on eBay. For your analogy, I like to collect rare video games. Okay. So you like to collect rare video games, you don't get rid of them, right? It's the same way with stocks, right? You get into stocks, do you have a brokerage account? Like, do you have a Charles Schwab account? Do you have a Robinhood account? Any sort of brokerage account. I don't care if it's public or whatever you have. Whatever brokerage account that you have, what do you got? Because if you got at least something, you can at least start investing right away. All you need is a couple bucks these days and some sort of brokerage account, whether it's Robinhood, whether it's Lost connection, but we're back. Let's see. Cypher Solution says keep the video games because they're going to be data. Dude, just because something's data doesn't mean not all data is created equal. By the way, not all things in this world are created equal. By the way, too, not all items are just valuable. Just created raw. Okay, cool. So Miles, you at least got a brokerage account. That's good. Really, you could start right now. I mean, actually, it's after hours, so you couldn't technically buy anything unless the overnight markets are open. Then you might be able to purchase something in the overnight markets. But the most important thing is, though, that you can start investing pretty much right when the market opens tomorrow. And really the key to investing is you got to be long term about it. You gotta go into it assuming that you're just gonna hold on to whatever you're investing into. I do think it's a good idea to diversify early. If I was to start all over again, the first thing I would do is I would buy some sort of ETF. Not financial advice, by the way, but I would buy an ETF of any kind, anything that was an index ETF that had a good amount of companies within it. I would say Vanguard Total World Index would be a great way to start. You get instant instant diversification right then and there. You can also get into other ETFs out there. There's plenty. There's so many different index ETFs. It boggles my mind. The Vanguard ones are great. The Spider ones are great, and that's SPDR. There's plenty of ETFs out there that you could just find, grab a hold of, and then boom, and then make it work. So that's really the key. Diversify so you can be in a better position. Spread out your risk. I mean, that's what I do. That's how I've invested this entire time, is just spreading out my risk. 20% of my portfolio is actively traded, but I could do that because I understand how to do it. It doesn't even take that much. I just swing trade 20% of it. 80% of my portfolio is buy and hold forever anyway. So it's like I am consistently investing. That's all I do. My main focus is own as many different businesses as I can, because if I spread out my risk, I'll never have to worry. Most things will compensate. Most things will be on the right path. So, but I love bond ETFs. Commodity ETFs, bond ETFs, stock ETFs, you name it, man. It's all there for the taking. It's all right there. And there's honestly, the more diversified you are, the less risk you have to deal with. Now, does it cap the upside? Absolutely. There are a lot of companies in those ETFs that may be shit and may fail, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But also there's going to be a lot of companies that succeed. Maybe they're just end up being mediocre companies, you name it. But overall, invest as if it's the only thing you could do. And the whole goal is to never sell your investments. All the ETFs that I have, 80% of my portfolio is non-negotiable. I don't sell it. 20% of it is specific. I have 3 ETFs that I actually swing trade, but everything else in my portfolio is all buy and hold, non-negotiable. I do not sell for shit. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Hopefully that helps. So collect ETFs like you collected Pokemon, or collect ETFs like you collect rare video games. Collect stocks like you collect rare video games. You collect them, you hold them. You don't, you let them sit. Maybe you play with them a little. You can't really play with stocks, but you're at least holding on to them, and you're not selling them off immediately, right? The whole goal is to have it, hold it, and just don't sell it off. It's as simple as that. Like, I have a lot of dividend stocks that I own, like real estate investment trusts. They pay me dividends every single month or whatever. But it's a good thing. but yeah, overall, that's really the key for me, is just invest whenever I can and keep spreading out the risk. I mean, that's really all there is to it. But let me see if there's any additional comments here. Let's see. Well, let's see here. Hold on. Pray fiat doesn't go. Well, here's the thing, man. I don't really save money. Like, I just basically am a long-term investor. I know that the dollar is weak. The dollar, any currency's weak. Bitcoin is weak. Ethereum's weak. All cryptocurrencies are weak, including Bitcoin. Any currency that's physical or digital is all worthless. It's all fiat. If it can't be backed by anything of real value, like gold, silver, or something of value, then it's not worth. It's not worth even saving. It's not real money. So anything that's not real money technically becomes a currency, and that's what the U.S. dollar is. Bitcoin's a digital currency. It's worthless. I don't care how rare it is. It's still worthless. You see here. So we got Cipher Solutions is saying Bitcoin is not Bitcoin. Of course it's fiat, man. It's garbage, you know. But yeah, overall, I just hold on to basically stocks, bonds, commodities, you name it. I pretty much stay as diversified as possible, so that way I don't have to, I don't have to bother with garbage at the end of the day, you know. But yeah, I'm always invested, man. Always invested. That's the key. That's the key. Because I mean, assets are really the key to freedom. I mean, if you save money, you're just digging yourself a grave, you know. So saving money, if you save Bitcoin, you're digging your own grave. If you save the dollar, you're digging your own grave. Those are not inflation proof, right? Bitcoin's worthless. The dollar's worthless. They all have an intrinsic value of 0, and they eventually do go down to 0. Bitcoin is in a bubble, in a hype bubble, but it'll die. You see it's tulip bulb theory. It's just a little more delayed. Yeah, both Bitcoin and the dollar are both garbage, man. They're both trash. You know that. So that's why I'm firmly against it, man. Emphasis on firm. All right, you guys. As much as I appreciate doing this show for as long as I've been doing the show today, I'm gonna head home. I am tired. It's fun standing here doing a show in the park. You know, little investing show. Being a wild man and doing what I do. But I want to thank you guys for taking the time to view this. Hopefully, you guys didn't get bombarded by ads. But yeah, straight up diversify. That's my key. I love being diversified in different ETFs, and you know, having one ETF it was never in the cards for me to be just a one ETF kind of guy. I got to be into all ETFs, right? But thank you guys for taking the time. Thank you, Cipher Solutions. Thank you, TJ from Stocks Family Farm. Appreciate all you guys. Also appreciate any of the members. By the way, we got Michael Donaldson. Check out my boy Michael Donaldson. Great. He's one of the first member and first guy to ever super chat. Another cool thing is another cool person, Yager's Farm, Jim from Yager's Farm. He's another member. We got my boy Martin, who is another member, which is fantastic. Thank you, Martin, man. I know Martin from Norway is a pimp. I hope he's doing all right. And yeah, but I want to thank everybody for well, actually, I do kind of want to give a little silent prayer out real quick. I'm going to kind of leave everybody nameless, but I just want to say that, you know, there's something disturbing that my girlfriend was telling me about a member of her family, kind of on the distant cousin side, I believe. Let's just say it was really disturbing, and it's been on my mind because it was really, I don't know. I just prayers for the family. Yeah, I'm not much of a religious guy, but honestly, like, I get why people are religious. You know, sometimes it can be tough to live in this world, especially when there are real pieces of crap. I know I pretend to be a piece of crap, but I think at the end of the day, I just like to turn my wiener into a mussy. You know, that's about it. You know, but anyway, no joking aside. Joking aside, though, this is a serious note that I do want to give a real prayer, a sincere prayer, to the family affected by that. I'm omitting names and stuff like that. I don't want to, you know, go into detail about what happened because it was sickening what happened, and oof. The world's a good. People in the world can be good, but there can also be real vile people. It's a mixture. It's a mixture. You know, there's good people, there's bad people. You know, I don't know what the ratio actually is, but I just yeah, I just want to offer a real prayer because those families are hurting right now. And I just want to say that I love my girlfriend a lot, and I know she's dealing with a lot right now. And she's an incredibly strong lady. Strongest, you know. I love her a lot, and it's always tough to see her in pain, but you know what? Honestly, it's understandable and it's expected. But anyway, thank you guys for taking the time to view this episode. I mean, we got 7 viewers right now, but really heartfelt prayer out to my girlfriend's. I don't know which. I can't remember all the names, but it was a messed up situation. What happened? I don't even. All I could say is just whatever prayers you got, just for my girlfriend's entire family, basically. That's all I could say. It was messed up. Seriously, messed up beyond belief. But you know, yeah. But I will signing off right now. We'll catch you all later. See if there's any chats here real quick. Don't see any, but thank you guys for viewing. I always appreciate it. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, do what you got to do. But no, prayers, sincere prayers to my girlfriend and her family. They're going through a tough time right now with the loss of one of her cousins, and that's all I'm gonna say about that, though. I just don't want to give any details away about what's going on, but it's messed up. The whole situation was fucked. Anyway, catch y'all later. Peace out.